I mean, you had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby!
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes, episode 203, 203 episodes of MinneZona Sports Live. And without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way from Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Volt, Shield, we got ourselves a good one tonight.
We are locked and loaded. If I didn't have a good enough day spending most of my day out on a golf course right now, of course, the Granite City Lumberjacks did have their annual golf outing today. It was fantastic. Got a great show, and of course, as always, no. This is not serious. Like this was a gift from my aunt who lives in Missouri. I thought, oh, this is kind of nice. You'll like this. Like, no, Aunt Jane. Like, thank you, first off, for the gift. Second of all, we all know that I'm a Tom Brady guy to the death of me. But, hey, I'll wear the shirt. It's a free shirt. Can't turn down free shirts. But we got a great show lined up here tonight, too.
We do have a great show lined up, and you are going to see a bunch. We have our round table NFC North talk. Gentlemen, we welcome you. Let's introduce everybody in case people don't know. Down below is where the Bears will be at 4 at the division. Well, we shall see. No, we welcome Bears representative Mitch Ribby. So, Mitch,
What in
welcome.
the house?
We'll get to your Bears. We'll talk about Caleb, but in all seriousness,
No.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes, Voldy, right?
Just
we'll
no.
kind of see how it goes.
Just straight up no.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Voldy, can you introduce our Lions representative, please?
Our Lions representative hailing out of Lenox, South Dakota, originally, of course. Life moves you in different directions. Our paths did cross at the Dakota State University when I was the sports director for KJAM Radio in Madison, South Dakota. He is a former defensive lineman for Coach Josh Anderson and the Dakota State University Trojans. Braden Wallenstein, big number 99, joining us as well. B-Wall, thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Perfect.
I'll mute myself. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are happy to have you, Braden. Especially, you playing Dakota State, Voldy calling games and whatnot. So that is awesome. We're happy to have you. We're going to talk a lot about your Lions. I mean, they're the favorites. I mean, as weird as it sounds, they are the favorites again to win the NFC North. So
it's still something I don't believe in either. So
yeah, there you go.
I lived some real bad Lions times. So
I bet.
A very select list of Lions fans that I actually know. It literally came down between Braden Wallenstein and Cam Schaefer. Now
yes.
I think B-Wall knows Cam Schaefer is our guy. So I had to pick somebody that's gonna be a little bit more reliable, I think, to answer the call. Cam's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, now that we have you here, we'll talk a little Lions here in a second. You guys know, you've guys probably seen, you've heard this person before. He was a former intern at Southwest Minnesota State University, and we did, yes, in fact, fire him. No, we actually brought him back, and we couldn't get Coombe because Coombe didn't respond, so we got that. And then Matt Metzler we tried to get, but you know what? He was busy doing other stuff. Basically what he was saying is he didn't want to talk Packers. So, but we have brought in our hashtag former intern guy, Trevor John Service. Yes, claps out. Or we could do the boo.
we could get Joe Service to come on the program. We got stuck with Trevor. We got stuck with Trevor.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, my brother's a little more knowledgeable, so thanks for taking me.
But he's a Vikings. He's a Viking fan. So
yeah, he's a smart one.
He was the smart one, but
he is, but he's smart overall.
Yeah, he is pretty smart. I will say that. So, but again, gentlemen, thank you for coming on here. We got a ton to talk about. We're gonna start with this. This is Tater Tot Hot Take, but we're doing a little spin on it with the round table. So, Voldy, I think it's time for us to get started with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it's time for the Tater Tot Hot Take, the NFC North Roundtable Preview. So we're going to start off with that, and then after that, we're going to kind of talk about the team's biggest headline going into the season. After that, we will go over position rankings, and the guys will give their division predictions, the record, and the place in the NFC North. Voldy, we will wait on some of those predictions since we do bold predictions in the coming weeks, so we will do that then. But we are focusing on our NFC North foes. Mitch, we start with you tonight with the Chicago Bears. Now, the Chicago Bears last season, it wasn't great, but they have made key additions to their offense, not only offense, but defensively as well. Keenan Allen. And by the way, Mitch, just so you know, DeAndre Swift is on the team, too.
Yeah, he's there too.
So we got that going for us. But Mitch, why don't you give us a little preview of your Bears and what you kind of are expecting? What do you got?
Oh, boy.
We're going to feast, baby. No hibernation for us. It's all go big or go home type situation going for the Bears. Firstly, our new quarterback, R.I.P. Justin Fields. I hope he does well in Pittsburgh, although it seems like a dumpster fire over there right now. So, but I think he'll do great. I think he'll beat Russell out. That 6th-round pick we got will turn into a 4th real quick. Real quick. Just because Russ is not what he used to be, and it's Mike Tomlin, and they just won't match. So, but back to our new quarterback, Caleb Williams. Looked great at USC. Heisman winner. Going to smash every Bears passing record off his first rookie year. He's going to demolish the rookie records. Don't even have to worry about that. And then the receiving core, which has been the talk of the NFL for us, because we have DJ Moore. We just re-signed him to pretty decent deal, pretty good size deal. I think it's $27 million for 4 years. So
4 or 3, I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah, one of those. Pretty much lock him in. And then veteran guy, Keenan Allen, longtime Charger. Always draft him in fantasy because you know what? He's a targets guy. Always gets the ball. Always gets downfield. And Caleb Williams needs that kind of veteran leadership in his receiving core, just because he's coming in rookie. Kind of showed him the ropes, and then partnered with him though, Rome Odunze, who was a stud at Washington. So that's the receiving core. That's kind of the big highlight. And then tight ends, Cole Kmet has been longtime Bear. He's been there. I think we re-signed him last year or this year. And guy out of Notre Dame. It's always been, when he was playing with Justin Fields, looked great. Can't wait to see what he can do with a pure passer. Not to throw shade at Justin, but
it's shade. It's fine.
Guy could bomb it if he needed to, but golly, he would much rather just run it in an open gap. But
true.
We also have DeAndre Swift, who I did not forget about. Former Eagle coming to the NFC North, way better division in my opinion, way tougher. And then we also have Khalil Herbert, who I think he's in his 2nd or 3rd year with the Bears. Great running back. A lot of people don't talk about him. He had a good 5-game stretch last year when a lot of our other running backs were just
hurt.
Hitting the IR like the rest, like the Vikings are, the entire team.
Hey,
So.
no, hey. I'm just kidding.
Low hanging fruit. That's rude.
Hey,
It's rude. Can't do that.
Continue.
But that's kind of the highlight on our offensive side, which has been a lot of what Ryan Poles has been able to do, and he is a blessing for this franchise. Let me just tell you, coming from Kansas City, he took what he learned there and is just full throttle for the McCaskey family and just turning us around, getting us out of that 85 Bears mentality of run it down your throat and a hard-nosed defense. We still got a great defense and we can still run the ball really well, but God, I would hate to be a secondary going against us this coming season because we got a passer, we got 3 phenomenal receivers and tight ends that'll break you up in the middle and just, I safeties and corners, look out because it's not going to be good.
So I have a quick question before we continue with that, but Jalen Johnson, he gets I think it was a big extension.
As he should. He's a great corner.
Yeah, I'm not knocking him by any means. What I'm saying is that having that compared with adding Sweat to your D line as well, getting pressure. The question is that going to be enough with? I believe it's Montez, right, instead of his brother. Okay, and what he was able to do when he was traded to the Bears, Sweat he goes against the Vikings and he tore everything up because he got to Dobbs, he created pressure, things like that. So Vikings and obviously the rest of NFC North has to be wary of that. But do you think that the defense really is kind of key in this in order for them to have success this season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. They just got to keep doing what they did the last 8 weeks of the season. You know what I mean? I think the last 8 weeks of the season, our defense was ranked in the top 5, overall. So as long as Eberflus can really hone in and make sure that the entire defense is just gelling together, which that's his side of the ball. So if this team falls apart, it's going to probably because Eberflus didn't get the defense together. But I don't think that'll happen because he's had a whole offseason to make sure that this thing works.
Right.
And I don't know, stars aligning, I think, between Poles doing a masterclass on just how to be a great GM and finesse the Panthers and get everything he did out of one single pick. I mean, I kind of feel like it's justice for us for what happened back in 2017 when we traded with the 49ers for Trubisky. Love Trubisky, but God, we got finessed hard. So this is a little bit of a revenge, able to get so much back for that one pick from Carolina. I think the defense isn't the main key thing that needs to work. Is Williams just needs to not play hero ball.
Sure. Well, I get what you're saying there, and obviously, I think that's what it kind of comes down to is if they're able to, make stops defensively, because you're going up in a division where Detroit is looking like a juggernaut again. Green Bay have improved. I will say, I hate to say that, but it's true. And then you got the Vikings as well. We can talk about that another time. But yeah, I like the preview, Mitch. I do. So,
I don't. I'm not a fan of it. But each their own.
Each their own. Ryan Poles. We'll talk about that later on here. But
turncoat.
Nice. Yeah, turncoat. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You were not saying that about Brian Poles last season. That's all I gotta say. You make one good trade, you draft one good guy after sucking a whole season, and now look where you're at right now. You're just high on the pine right now, aren't you? You've been watching too much Hard Knocks there, McPhee.
Yeah, I was a little
way
bummed
too much
when we sent our linebacker from Georgia to the Ravens. I was like, what are we doing? This guy's a stud. We need to re-sign him, keep him, but
Didn't work out.
No.
All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at those Detroit Lions, Braden. And, it's got to feel nice being a Lions fan now and seeing what type of success they've had this past season. Amon Monra was on fire. Jared Goff was on fire. We'll get to that with Mitch in a second. And the defense is improved with Aiden Hutchinson and everything like that. So, Braden, why don't you give us a little preview of your thoughts on your Lions this season?
Okay, so I kind of have to preface what I'm about to say by saying, I've been a Lions fan my whole life. When I was a little kid, believe it or not, I liked the logo, picked it out. I was like 4 years old and liked the logo.
Hey,
stuck with it, lived through 0-16 and
yeah,
it was it was tough. It was tough to be a
Brutal.
Lions fan. So this time around where the Lions are competitive and almost every game they play, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to to stick with a group of guys that never played well, and then all of a sudden just they've kind of come on. And I think Dan Campbell has a lot to do with that. I think Brad Holmes has a lot to do with that. But for this year, I think it'll be a lot of the same. They open with, I believe it's 14 games inside. 14 of their first 15 are inside. And Jared Goff plays really well inside. And then you got the 1-2 in the backfield with Montgomery and Gibbs. Gibbs popped with a hamstring the other day. I don't
Right.
know, haven't really heard anything, but
Not good.
I think David Montgomery was a great pickup. I think he's playing better now than he ever did when he was with the Bears. So, and then the receiving core, I think Amon Ra's Amon Ra. I mean, he's just that guy. But they're gonna need Jameson Williams to play well.
Yes.
And I think that could have some major impact on how the ball games go, because when you have one guy out there that's getting bracket coverage from everybody and he's doing everything, you'll struggle. So I think he'll come on. I think everything you're hearing out of camp, and you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But I think everything that I'm hearing out of camp is that he's playing better than he ever has. And then on the other side, well, you got don't let me forget about Sam Laporta. That dude is good as well. Another guy that popped up on the injury report, I think probably end of last week, if I remember right. And then that O-line, Decker reported. I don't know what to say, but it is what it is. Defensively, they kind of had their struggles, especially on the back end. And I think they did a really good job of bringing in a couple of younger guys, and drafting a couple of younger guys as well. And I'm interested to see how that holds up. I think Arnold is kind of that. He'll mesh really well with Brian Branch, just because those guys have that connection from Alabama, and they've been around each other before. So I think that'll kind of play really well. But up front, it's kind of the same story as Amon Ra. You have this guy in Aiden Hutchinson who's just the dude, you need somebody around him to help him out. I think Aleem McNeil is a good candidate for that. I think they need somebody. They picked up Reeder, and he's hurt. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I think they'll be good. I think they'll be competitive with everybody they play, but you can't lean on one guy defensively and one guy offensively. And I hope that they don't. So I guess we'll see. But no, I think they'll be competitive in every game. I was kind of before this, I was kind of looking at the schedule, going over where I wanted to be or what I thought they would be at, and with all those games at home early and inside early, I mean, you can look at Goff's numbers inside versus outside. He plays daylight better inside than he does outside. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I'm hopeful. So
that's good to hear, because I mean, with what you have offensively, that offensive line, and spoiler alert, but I think it's the best in the North, and it very well could be the best in football right now. I mean, with Decker, you got in the Ragnow is just a monster, and Minnesota connection, but who's paying attention? You have that factored in, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do they? I believe they got rid of Cam Sutton, right? The corner, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. So now that
they drafted Arnold and Rakestraw early, so
gotcha. Yeah. So now that, because I feel like that was kind of a little bit of their weak point last season, was the secondary. Now that they add some guys with Arnold, I've been hearing nothing but good things about Arnold. So that's scary for not only the Vikings, but Bears and Packers as well. So, the Lions are a team that are they're going to be in every, like you said, in every game. They're going to fight. They're going to go with that Dan Campbell spirit as well. So yeah, I think that they're poised to have another really good season. But we'll talk about that later on. But well said. I like that.
I don't know if you can see this, but I got my kneecap.
Oh, the kneecap.
Yeah,
go ahead, show it again there. Yeah, the kneecap tour. I
you
love
want
it.
to talk about two guys you want with you in a dark alley in a street fight? I want Dan Campbell and I want Brad Holmes by my side, because those two are giants of people, and they do not care. They will mess up everything. Because if you want to talk about a guy that has been through it, especially with the Lions, Dan Campbell's a guy. I mean, he played back in the days, John Kitna and Josh McCown were the starting quarterbacks there.
Yep.
I mean, it can't get much worse then, and he still put up numbers in Detroit too. So, I mean, if Dan Campbell was my head coach, I'd be running through all the walls for him. And the fun thing is that it's kind of cool to be a Lions fan now, and I could probably say that for you, Braden. I mean, all these Lions fans that went through it for all these years now can come out and say, "Yeah, I'm a Lions fan through and through."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. So we're going to talk a little bit more with the Lions here in a second, but let's talk with our former intern Trevor John Cerbus.
Let's go.
Let's wrap it up. Let's go. All right.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah. Okay. All right, T-Bone. What are you previewing with your Packers there?
Well, I'm just excited to kind of watch the young guys grow for this coming season, since we are still a fairly young team. Excited to see if we're going to get
Keep
Mr.
going.
500
You're good.
out on the. Okay, sorry. Excited to see if we're going to get Mr. 500 out on the field, or if we're going to get the newly $50 million quarterback, whatever, per year, Jordan Love. So that's just kind of exciting and kind of nerve-wracking at the same time. Would rather just see him play another year rather than just kind of go off of the last half of the season. Sorry, our dog is a little loud in the background.
Yeah, it's all good. Keep going.
It's all good.
Watson, Dobbs, it should be pretty fun to just see how they kind of do this coming season. See them kind of carry the offense a little bit. See AJ Dillon, kind of one of the veterans on that offense a little bit to a point, kind of be back. And sad to see Aaron Jones go, but I guess he's with Minnesota, so hopefully he doesn't succeed with them. And yeah, Josh Jacobs should be pretty.
Boo you! Boo you! Go ahead.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs should be pretty fun to see how he does, just doing so well on the West Coast there, and to see if he can carry that through to the Midwest here. Yeah, glad they did not decide to
Luna
draft, or Luna's in the background. Decided to keep Greg Joseph on the team, so that was nice. They kind of cut him and got rid of him off the starting roster.
Yeah, well, we didn't need him.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of fun to watch. Just overall, just the young team is just what I'm looking forward to this year, is to see how well they actually can do. I expect something similar, like a record from last year. I'm not going to say my record yet, but just kind of expecting something similar from last year there. And yeah, my expectations are kind of just overall just kind of low. Like, I'm not going to be too hyped, too low. I'm just going to kind of just let the wave ride a little bit.
Let the wave ride a little bit. It seems Luna's not feeling it as well, so that's...
Yeah, she's not... I don't think she's agreeing with me, so...
That's a smart dog.
Yeah, smart pup. So we're going to talk about Jordan Love in a little bit here, but I mean, looking at this, there's been a lot of talk about their wide receiver situation as well. Kind of the main thing is that you have these wide receivers like Dobbs, and you have Watson, and Watson's kind of been dealing with some injuries and things like that. But I know that LaFleur, we'll talk about that in a second too with LaFleur, but the main thing is that the Packers have the running game. They have a pretty good offensive line. They're not, scrubs by any means. But the question is Jacobs going to kind of be able to shoulder that load? Granted, now that you have A.J. Dillon back as well, I think that'll help. And then if Love can do the same thing he did the last few games. So I think that'll be interesting to see as well. So, all right, we'll let Luna kind of take a second there.
Calm down.
T-Bone. Yeah.
God's sake, just let the dog out.
Yeah.
Let her run.
Let her
Go.
run. Let her go. So
sorry, I had to get that off my chest. It was bugging me.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
Oh
good.
boy. Okay.
So anyway, let's move on to kind of the biggest headlines here for each team. So for Mitch, the biggest headline is obviously not only or Caleb Williams. I mean, it is. I mean, that is what that's the light that's on the spotlight's on him, right? And he's going to be the guy for the Bears. And the main thing is that you have what was his name, Tyson Bagent or something like that. The guy.
Yeah, we love Bagent, dude. Love Bagent, man.
His dad was like a arm wrestler or something like that, or what was he?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Arm wrestler.
Arm wrestler. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
He chose D2, baby.
D2, there you go. So, Mitch, how would you evaluate the first preseason game with Caleb Williams? Would you say, yeah, it was good. I liked what I saw. There's things he can improve on, or were you like, it could have been a little better. I want to see a little bit more. What do you got?
I loved it. He looked so good. He just looked like a quarterback that the Bears haven't had in so long. It wasn't like why did he run out on that one, or like, why did he throw it to that receiver? It was, there was a couple, I think he had 3 passing completions. And 2 of them I was like, gosh, could get that in there a little bit better. But the completions he did have, boy, were those windows just astronomically small. And for him to be making those types of throws in the first preseason game of his NFL career, I'm sold. I'm like, yep, he's our guy. I'm so glad we drafted Caleb Williams instead of either, tiptoeing around with Justin, and we just were like, nope, see you later. We're going to take our guy. We're going to move forward with him. And basically we've had since probably like November, December to work with Williams, basically installing this offense that our new OC, Shane Waldron, over from, I think he's from Seattle.
Yep.
He smart offensive guru guy to kind of make up for the fact that we don't have a Dan Campbell or Matt Eberflus, or not Eberflus, Matt
LaFleur.
Who's the Green Bay coach? LaFleur, yeah.
LaFleur.
Yeah, LaFleur, and then the Vikings head coach as well. Both Vikings and Packers head coaches are offensive gurus, so that's always something that when you have a defensive head coach,
right, that
you're kind of 2 steps behind on that then, because with Love and JJ McCarthy, I think he was going to have a really good season with O'Connell, just because he's a mastermind, and all the weapons that the Vikings have too is just going to look really good.
Yeah.
But now that it's Sam Darnold, nothing against Sam, but
don't throw salt in the wound here. No, I'm just kidding.
all the salt straight up into the wound. But no, it's when you have a guy like Caleb Williams, I think the Bears can overcome that hurdle that we don't have an offensive head coach. So, Waldron, I think, has done a really good job working with Williams in the receiving core, and our offensive line isn't as bad as people like to sometimes make it out to be. I think we're out. I've looked at a couple different articles. We're averaging between 10 and 15th in the NFL for our offensive line, which isn't bad, but isn't bottom of the barrel. So, and for our offensive line we've had in the past seasons when we did have Fields, is 10 steps forward for what he had to deal with. So, and now that we have weapons and we have a good, healthy running back room and we have good, competent tight ends, like
it's made for him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, yeah. We it's kind of set up for him to just kind of take the reins and not, like I said, as long as he doesn't think he has to play this hero ball, which a lot of number 1 overall picks have to do, like Bryce Young and Baker and RG3. You know, those guys had to come in, and they kind of came into a not great situation, and kind of basically put the team on their back. Here, you know, he's coming into a team that went 8-7 last season, 7-8, one of those two.
Sure.
So it's not like it was a terrible record. You know, we had the first overall pick because the team we traded with decided to crap the bed. So, and you know, not very many number one overall picks, especially the generational talent that Williams is. I mean, the stuff he was able to do at USC, and it being USC, it's not like USC back in the day, right? It's USC with in the Pac-12. You know, it's not. They weren't competing for natties, but the numbers he put up were insane. And when he had Jordan Addison there 2 years ago, and he just really played phenomenal football. Whether it was running with his legs or throwing the ball, it's gonna be tough.
So Voldy, or real quick, Voldy, remind me again. Did Caleb Williams throw a touchdown in the preseason game? Did J.J. McCarthy in his preseason game? Two, Mitch.
On one good knee.
Williams threw a touchdown pass. What are you talking about?
No, he didn't. He led two drives for field goals, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I think so. Yeah, that's what it says, doesn't it?
Well, it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee that J.J. McCarthy throws no more touchdowns this year. So.
Yep. That's true.
Exactly.
They just already won. So
fair enough. Yeah. Touche. Just, you know, and again, like Williams, I think this is expected, right? You want that from your number one pick. Mm-hmm. He has the weapons. He has the running game. But Mitch, I'm going to tell you right now, that offensive line is something that is not as strong as, and I will say, not as strong as the Lions or even Green Bay. I'd probably say the Vikings over the Bears right now. But if you see that improvement and they trust Caleb enough, to avoid pressure and give them extra protection too, I think that could help. But, you know, again, the question is that, you know, protect Caleb, you know, make sure he doesn't, you know, get hurt like JJ did, unfortunately. But I don't know. That's the biggest question mark for me is their offensive line. So we'll talk about that through our rankings here in a little bit. But let's go over the Lions here, Braden. The Lions, a lot of people kind of look at this and say, okay, they did what they did last year. They got to the NFC Championship game. They, you know, went toe-to-toe with, you know, arguably the best team in the NFC. And, again, they had the lead. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out in the second half. But the question that everyone has right now is, can they do this again? Can they get back to the NFC Championship game? Can they get past whatever team they have to play? It very well could be the Niners again. We'll see. And you mentioned so great before is that a lot of these games are indoors. Goff plays better indoors as well. So getting kind of more of an unfiltered opinion from a Lions fan, how confident are you in this team that they can get back to that point here this season? What do you got?
A lot of people called it a fluke. A lot of people called it.
Yeah, there were. Yeah.
I think that realistically, I think that it's not out of the cards at all. I have them projected as winning the division, but you know that might be my biased opinion.
That's fair.
So, but no, I don't. I mean, I feel like now that they've done it, and you touched on that San Francisco game, and I think one thing that showed really bad in that second half of that San Francisco game was the inexperience of being there.
True.
They're really young. They have a lot of young talent that plays, and most of those guys, even the guys that have been there forever. I mean, Taylor Decker played in 1 or 2 playoff games, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the experience of getting there, being so close and losing it, will only make it, you know, it only incentivize those guys even more to want to try to get there again. So I think that you know what, I'll just predict it. I think they'll make the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. I like that we
that.
have bold predictions here on our round table. I love it. I think that I kind of agree with that. I mean, wouldn't you kind of, Voldy, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I really go back and you really think about the system and how the team is all made up with this Lions squad. Because you look at how it started with Dan Campbell coming in with Brad Holmes. You're dealing with players, you're dealing with a team that's under a different regime, an old coaching staff, an old front office. So you're dealing with those guys, the contracts that were made, the players that were drafted. You make some trades, you have to make some moves. You bring out the old, in with the new, and now that is really starting to come to fruition, maybe even a year or so ahead of expectations, if not right on time with what Dan Campbell and the Lions wanted. You really start to see the team that they wanted to make, and everything is starting to come together. And obviously, putting that experience, of course, being up in the NFC Championship game and ultimately losing in that contest is something that you look back on as just another step of experience to hopefully they can get back to that level and hopefully maybe for Lions fans make it past that point and play in the big game in February. I'm not going to say it. I can't put those both together.
We're waiting on our bold prediction.
For legal purposes, obviously. Don't want to get sued.
Fair enough. So we do have a fact check from one Nick Dahlhoff.
Yeah,
I can find no information about Williams scoring a touchdown. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, again, he led them down to, score points with the field goal. I'm just comparing, obviously we don't have McCarthy. We'll talk about that at another time. But well said, Voldy, and, we'll talk about this, more here coming up here. But I like that you put that bold prediction, Braden. I think because it's probably me being sad because of the whole ordeal that we've had these past 24 hours as Vikings fans has been torturous. You had Jordan Addison go down today. You had McCarthy, confirmed torn meniscus and everything like that. So, I mean, we'll give our predictions at another time. But not looking good for Minnesota Vikings. It looks like the Lions, like you were saying, are going to probably be, the division champs and obviously go to the NFC Championship game. So we will keep chatting about that later on. T-Bone, you ready to talk about some Jordan Love real quick? Or is Luna getting you?
Want?
What do you want? So the Packers signed the extension with Jordan Love, 4 years, $220 million extension. So, Trev, how do you feel about the contract extension? And do you believe? Obviously, the Packers believe he's the guy now. I mean, for sure. Do you believe after what he did last season, towards the end of the season, do you think that he is in fact the guy? What do you got?
That's a little iffy question. I guess I have to believe it now since they decided to pay him all that money, but I don't know. Overall, I'm still kind of skeptical of it. Obviously, everybody thinks they deserve max contracts and everything nowadays in every professional sport. So, and I kind of knew it was coming, but still was hoping to kind of get almost like another year out of him just to see if he actually is the guy. So, I don't know. I'm still skeptical on it, but got to ride it out this year and kind of see how he, like I said in my preview, kind of depends if he's Mr. 500 or if he's the last half-season guy that he was last year. If he's that guy, then yeah, well, let's go for it. But yeah, we'll see. It's his offense is going to have to help him out this year. His wide receiver is going to have to get open, and then, like we said, Jacobs. What running back is he actually going to kind of be this year? Is he going to be any help to kind of lessen the load, or as the other guys are saying too, like, is he going to actually have to play hero ball, or just kind of just make the smart throws? And yeah, we'll see. He's been in the league now for, was it five seasons now, 6, whatever it is now.
Yeah, that sounds.
4?
Is it
something
fourth?
like that? We'll see if he learned. Maybe it's 4. Yeah, let's see if he
Something
learned
like
anything from Rodgers for those couple seasons. And yeah, he's the guy for the second season. So we'll see if they're. I don't know if they can get back to that same record they got last year. I would be fairly happy.
So
yeah.
No, my question is, and we'll talk more about this, but the thing is there's no guy on the receiver crew that you're like, that's a number 1 receiver. Jefferson, Amon-Ra. Not only that, then you got Keenan Allen on that side. Roma Dunze. You got DJ Moore. I mean, they got Dobbs, who he's okay. He's not terrible. And then after that, you have Christian Watson. A lot of injuries these first 2 seasons, going into his third. That's a big question mark. But these rookies that they have, like a Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, those guys have to step up in order to help Love. Wouldn't you agree with that too?
Yeah, it's a heavy ask of those young guys coming in to kind of carry the load a little bit. But like you say, Watson's he's FE at best. Just kind of see if he's actually going to be injured or not. And yeah, if he can stay healthy, if those other young guys can kind of learn some things and kind of, yeah, like you said, there's like no number 1 guy, so it kind of is going to be, some of those young guys might have the games, some of those games, because they're the better cornerbacks or whatever, going to be guarding, let's just say Dobbs or Watson, since they're the veterans, for say, of the wide receiver crew. And yeah, I don't know, those rookies, it's going to be a tall ask, but I think they can do it.
So here's my next question for you. Matt LaFleur was interviewed about, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever. He says, I want to vomit every time I hear number 1 receiver, to be honest with you. It drives me crazy. That's something you guys talk about. I feel like we've got a bunch of them. I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm not going to lie with you. There's no number 1 receiver on the Green Bay Packers. I mean, do you agree with that? I mean, we could put absurd statement, Voldy, probably. Go ahead, Trevor. Sorry.
I was going to say, I would say there's a bunch of number 2s on their team, but yeah, I would not say any of them are just, yeah, like, if you're thinking, just let's just say fantasy-wise, I would probably draft none of them right now in the first however many rounds until maybe towards the end, because you don't know who actually is going to do anything game to game. So
right.
That's just Matt being Matt. Not you, Matt, but the other, yeah.
Coach good. Matt. Hey, that was a compliment. Thank you. The last thing I'm going to say here is that, LaFleur's kind of got his own ways. But Dan Orlovsky, I think it was today or yesterday or whatever, he said that the Packers, and we're going to go to our position rankings here, had the best receiving core in the NFC North. Yeah. Look at, Mitch is, puzzled. Brayton's puzzled. How?
That's your boy, Braden. That's your boy, Dan Orlovsky. Come on now.
Dano.
He had some cold takes during the Lions playoffs run too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Dan's a interesting character. So
yeah, he is. Jared Allen knows him very well. So
so does the back of the end zone.
Yeah, fair enough. Well said. Well, good man. So let's move on to our next topic. We talked about the headlines. Let's move on to our next is our position rankings. So let's start with QB. We'll probably go through these quite quick because, we can all agree on most of these. So, Mitch, and again, you can have your bias in there. It's okay. It's your choice, however you want to, go with it. Who are the top four in the NFC North for QB? Mitch, go ahead.
So, like the best quarterback out of
Yes,
the
correct.
four?
Out of all the teams, yep.
I'd have to give it to Goff. Unfortunately, give it 2 years and I'll say Williams through and through every time. But
Yikes.
Goff has been proven. He did it with the Rams. He's doing it with the Lions. He's a very good quarterback, very smart, very meticulous, very polished. And I think with the weapons that he has around him in that offensive line, he's the quarterback in the North. He's the guy. And I don't think the distance between Goff and Love is a lot deeper than I think a lot of people are saying. People want to praise Love for his last 8 games, and I'm like, that's 8 games. It was half a season. Did you see the first half? They were trash. People were like, what is this guy? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know what he did. Maybe he took a deal that Aaron Rodgers took, and he's there. They found another generational quarterback, but I just don't see it like. I don't think he's got what Rodgers or Favre had. So I think I got to give quarterback to Goff. He's
Okay.
He's a heck of a quarterback. So.
All right, number 2.
It pains me, but I think Jacobs is a stud of a running back. I think he's.
Oh no, QB. Yeah, who's your number 2 in the North?
Rank him 1 through 4.
1 through 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. My bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So 1 Goff, 2 Williams, 3 Love, and then 4 Darnold, because McCarthy is not.
Yeah, we got it.
Playing anymore.
We got it. All right, Braden, what do you got?
So I would say, when you look around like the quarterback room, if all the NFC North quarterbacks were in a room, it's kind of it's an interesting group,
Yeah, it is.
I think that Jared Goff, just based on what he's done, compared to the other guys, is QB1 in the North. I would say Love is 2, and I think if Love has a good year, and everybody says it was only half a season. Well, it was look at those games he was playing in the cold in Green Bay. I mean, he played really well toward the back half. I think that if I had to rank 1 through 4, I would say Goff, Love, Williams, and then whoever the Vikings trot out game 1. I have no idea. So I'm assuming it's Darnold, but who knows? Yeah. Is it?
It is. It is Darnold. Yeah. Mullins.
Right now it is.
Right now. Yeah. Right now it is. Yeah. And it's also, I think it is confirmed that Darnold is not going to play the rest of the preseason. I'm pretty sure.
God.
So I mean, they need to, have a quarterback. So, all right, T-Bone.
Bring back the Pastronaut.
Yeah. He got cut, didn't he, by the Niners? Yeah. The Pastronaut. Let's go. All right, T-Bone.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Goff, he's just the guy for the North. Again, just like both of them said, he's just for everything he's did so far. Oops, sorry. Get that camera back online.
There you go.
And I would give number 2 just because I know he had a great first preseason game. I know what he did at USC, but I just want to see what he actually does in a couple regular season games. But I'll have to kind of just give it to Love for right now, and that could easily change after those first couple to see how Williams actually does with an actual game and everything. But yeah, he's right there. He's a great quarterback, so he's right behind Love. If not, like I said, he could pass him pretty easy. And yeah, Vikings they're trash. They're 4th.
It would be a different story if it was McCarthy. It would be a different
I would still have McCarthy at 4th.
Fair enough. I get it. Shield, real quick. What do you got for yours?
I mean, with my 4 in the rankings, I mean, definitely have to go Goff 1. I definitely put Jordan Love at 2. And then That's where it gets tricky between 3 and 4 in my mind.
Ooh.
I'll just go out on a ledge and I'll say it. We all know that it's going to be Sam Darnold start week 1 for the Vikings. I am very well going to put Darnold ahead of Caleb Williams 3-4 based on experience alone, because winning games in the NFL ain't easy. Even though Sam Darnold hasn't done a lot of it, he's done a little bit of it, and a little is still a lot more than 0 for Caleb Williams. So,
how do you feel about
biased,
that, Mitch?
unbiased opinion. So,
We'll see what you're saying week 3, because I'm thinking that's going to change a
we're
lot.
drinking the same delusional Kool-Aid, baby. We drinking it. Yours is orange, mine is purple. That's all it is.
Fair.
We're drinking that same delusional Kool-Aid.
Oh man, I'll give mine at a different time. But let's quick go through running backs. Mitch, go ahead. 1 through 4.
I spoiled it a little bit. Yep. I'll have Jacobs for the Packers, and then I'll have who's a Vikings running back?
Aaron Jones.
No, is it Jones? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go Jacobs, Jones, Swift, and then some Montgomery for the Lions.
Or Gibbs.
Yeah.
You could do either.
I'll give it to Montgomery. I love Montgomery because former Bear, loved out of Iowa State.
Yeah.
Good,
now
good
lying.
scat running back. But
Okay. Braden.
So I'm just gonna do committees because I mean they're all kind of in a
Sure.
committee except for Aaron Jones. I think that, and I'm not. I think that Jacobs could be really good. He could, he could struggle.
Yeah.
But I think that if they get the Jacobs from 2 years ago, they'll be the number 1 committee in the North. I do, and I think it's going to happen just because they like to really run the ball. And I think that the Lions, the way that they run the ball, I think that they would come in too. And it may, it may be based off their O-line is just that good. But they ran the ball a ton last year and were very successful. So I think I would go Pack committee, Lions committee, and then I would go Aaron Jones and then the Bears committee. Because I think that the Bears, I think that Swift maybe isn't going to get as many carries as everybody thinks he's going to get. I think they're still going to fold in Herbert. I think they're still going to fold in Roshan as well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But that for me, the running back's the hardest one, just because they're all in these committees that there's going to be 2 guys every Sunday taking snaps. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Okay. I like it. T-Bone.
Oh yeah, I do agree that is a tough one just because there are 2 running backs for each team that are really good.
You
So
could
I'm
go
gonna
committee
with,
if you want, yeah.
Yeah, I might just do that. I'm just thinking I'm gonna go. I'll go Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
Wow.
And I have no rhyme or reason. Honestly, I think any of them could be the number 1 for running
It's
backs.
kind
They
of a
all
tough.
are really
Yeah.
good. It is
kinda-
a tough area.
Yeah. I mean, Jacobs, like Braden said, could be really good or really bad,
Yeah.
and you have Dillon, the A.J. Dillon as well, which, he's definitely had his spurts. But, yeah, it's a tough one to pin. Voldy, what do you got?
I would definitely throw, based off of what I've seen and kind of the combination that you have with the committees, I would go Lions, and then I would go biased, unbiased opinion. I would go Lions, then Vikings, put Packers then, and then I'd put Bears 4th, just based off of, I really like what I've seen out of the combination you have with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery as well. Good combination, obviously youth and experience, guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, obviously power run at the same time. there's a lot of good things going right so far for that running back group.
Okay, let's do wide receiver core. You don't have to pick a specific receiver or anything. Mitch, go ahead.
Bears, Lions, Vikings, Packers.
Crash.
No.
I don't love it.
Amon-Ra. Addison's out.
Well,
like,
no. Hold on.
Allegedly.
He will be out for at least 3 for sure. But with the ankle injury, we don't know what the severity or how that's all going to pan out. But yeah, he will be out. Why couldn't we
have this conversation at like 4:00 Sunday afternoon when the Vikings were just rolling and we were about to make the division look stupid this year?
Yeah.
Nope.
Kirko.
Had to wait till Wednesday. No.
and Jefferson isn't known to like be the super healthiest receiver. Like he can go down quite a bit.
Well, it was only one time. He last year. That was the only time he was hurt. The previous couple seasons, he was healthy.
Wow.
Agree to disagree.
Well, yeah. Nick fact checked me again.
Ruined.
Oh man. Yeah, we'll see what Nick says on that. All right, Braden, go ahead.
So for me, it'd be the Bears. Just top to bottom, I think. You look at their 1, 2, 3. I think their 1, 2, and 3 probably combined as a group are a little bit better than the other groups. And then you get into these Vikings and Lions. The Vikings 1 is Jefferson, and like I said about Amon-Ra, he's that dude.
Yeah.
And then you go to 2, and Addison's out or could be out or whatever, but I think he's a better 2 than Jameson Williams. So for me, I would go Bears as the 1, Vikings as the 2, Lions as the 3, Packers as the 4.
I can live with that one, for sure. T-Bone.
Been unmuted. I'll go Bears 1. I'm actually going to do Lions 2, Vikings 3, and yeah, my Packers are just, that's why I have no expectations there 4.
All I got to say is this.
You had a little faith this season. I love it.
All right, Voldy.
I mean, I look at the overall core of these groups that we are talking about here. I would definitely put, again, if we were having this conversation Sunday at 4:00, this would be a whole different ranking. But I'm gonna go. See, this is tough. This is a lot of nitpickiness on my part. I'm gonna go Lions, Vikings, Bears. No, I'm gonna go Lions, Vikings, Packers, then Bears.
Ooh.
What?
What I said.
Say it with your chest.
I did say it with my chest, son.
You did.
Look,
you did.
Here's the logic. You got a good young core receivers on any team. You keep them together 3-4 years before they get all egoed out, asking for big money contracts. You could do something with that. And a young quarterback with a young receiving core is going to be quite dangerous, as I hate to say it against, with it being the Green Bay Packers. I mean, intern guy might not have any confidence in his team, but they could be a sneaky team this year. They may have to put up a lot of points this year, but with that young team they do have, they could very well do it. I don't know. But you throw a bunch of guys in a room in a receiving core and you call it a receiving core without actually being a team with Keenan Allen, with Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. I mean, you could put we've seen it too many times before of putting a bunch of super receivers in one room. It doesn't work. I mean, we've seen it in the past with like in Cleveland when they had OBJ, they had Jarvis Landry. They could barely string together wins, let alone be on the field at the same time. And all the times that you've seen it in the past, super receiver teams don't always work. And this could very well be another instance in Chicago.
Mitch, real quick.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. I see where you're coming from, but I feel like none of the receivers for Chicago are that egotistical drama diva receiver. You know what I mean?
Like a dick.
Rome may become that, but DJ Moore is very humble. He's from Carolina. Like he basically put that team on his back for whenever he was playing for him, and he's not making a big stink like with all the Fields and Williams drama. Like he said nothing wrong. Like he aced every single press conference when they asked about that situation. Mm-hmm. And then Allen is just a vet guy that's probably going to be out of Chicago in like 2-3 seasons, unless we re-sign him. But he's old. Like he's good to set up that Rome and more receiving core to kind of grow and then, get up like 5 other receivers and be an absolute stealth force. But I see where you're coming from with, yeah. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right, real quick. We've gone over time, but let's go quickly through. Let's go with defense here, since we can go through tight end, but I feel like we kind of know where that. All right, the top defense in the North.
Woo!
Yeah,
number 1.
We got that.
The only one.
There you go.
He's my one as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. All right. Top defenses. Mitch, go ahead real quick.
I'd probably go Bears, Vikings, Lions, Packers.
The Bears? The first?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Drink that orange Kool-Aid, baby. I hope there's some cyanide in there.
All right.
Good luck trying to beat Johnson when sweat's in your face. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Got Christian Darrisaw. Just saying. Braden, go ahead real quick.
So I have Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I don't know much about the Vikings defense. I kind of looked at the roster real quick. There's a couple names, but yeah, I don't follow Vikings very often, so I don't know much about the roster. I think the Bears could be really good, but kind of the same type beat as the Lions. They have Montez Sweat playing on the D line, and there's not a whole lot around him for pass rush there. So he's going to get everybody's best, and he's going to get a lot of slide protection at him. But then you look at like the Packers. You look at like the Packers defense. There's pieces there to be really good. I think that the Packers defense is going to help Jordan Love a lot, and I think that the Packers will be sneaky in this division overall.
Fair enough. I like it. All right, intern guy, go ahead.
I'll make it quick. Packers, Bears, Lions, and I'm just gonna keep Vikings last for like everything.
God, you suck, man.
Who invited this guy? He was like the eighth. He was the 8th Packers guy we wanted to put on this show. That's how desperate we were.
You're desperate, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. He was the only one
booking the talent. I got Braden to come on the show. That's my A1 guy right there.
Let's put it like this, though. The rest of the guys that we talked to didn't have the balls to come on this show. So just saying, that's what we. I give
You're just
credit.
Desperate for me.
Fair enough. Okay, so we got to go really quick here. We're gonna wrap this up. Mitch, predictions. Okay, give the record for the Bears, and then just place the rest. Okay.
I think Bears go 11-6 if my math is mathing right. That's 17 games.
Correct. Yep.
And then so we take the North, and Lions finish second, Packers, and then Vikings.
Okay. We'll have to talk about that more later on as the season goes on, too. So, all right, Braden, what do you got for your Lions and the division?
So I have the Lions at 11-6, the Packers at 10-7, the Bears at 9-8, and the Vikings at 5-12. I also have the Vikings getting swept by the North.
Damn.
He's probably right.
I like it.
Shut up, Trev. He's probably right, to be honest. But yeah, unfortunate. But all right, T-Bone.
Packers 10-7. I'm gonna do the Lions 12-5. The Bears will be 9-8, and yeah, the Vikings. I'm between 5-12 and 6-11. So let's just go. I'll be different. I'll do 6-11.
Wow, one up. Voldy, we gotta wait for our.
I have a lot of feelings right now. None of them very positive.
We will.
Very positive. Look, can I just say this?
Go ahead.
If we get, I've been looking at the schedule. We get Green Bay first 4 weeks of the season at Lambeau, noon o'clock kickoff. That's a win for the Vikings. Always play better ahead, non-prime time game early in the year in Green Bay. That's a W in a lot of stretches. Now, if we get Chicago, usually we always get Chicago Monday night right around Halloween. Yeah. Or a primetime game like week 15, 16, week 37. It's always towards the end of the year. Vikings are vying for a playoff spot, and they always shit the bed against the Bears for some reason. Monday night game right around Halloween. Vikings have their best team in years, still shit the bed against the Bears. So, I don't know. I think they get at least 2 division wins this year. We'll see.
At least it's not swept, so we got that going for us.
Detroit, I don't know. Detroit's always been a pain in the ass for the Vikings, but literally always.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, Green Bay and that too. All right. Well, that being said,
that's better.
Go
I was
real
gonna
quick.
Say, I had the Bears split every North matchup. So.
Dang.
Fair enough.
A lot of holes in that record then.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
The third easiest schedule in the NFL. We can make up a lot of wins.
Oh, yeah. There you go. All right, so that will do it. Those were our division predictions. Gentlemen, we thank you for coming on. That was an absolute blast. We could have literally we probably almost gone the whole show with talking about the NFC North and everything like that. So we appreciate your guys' time. We'll see how this pans out. Now, this is recorded now, so when we come back to this, there might be some absurd statements, there might be some approved statements. So, hey, we'll take a look. But we appreciate your guys' time, and we will be talking to you guys soon. So, good luck to your teams, kind of, sort of. Skull Vikes, the whole deal. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks again, guys. We will talk to you very soon.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Thanks for being desperate.
Yeah, shut up. All right.
Desperate and delusional like Ribby.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's all the hot takes.
Yeah.
Hot takes are great for views.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
fair enough.
Ask Orlovsky.
Yeah.
All about hot takes.
Packers' best receiving corps. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another deal. But thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Peace.
Hey, fellas. Whoa.
There we go. That is our
did
NFC Roundtable Talk. That was a ton of fun. Voldy, we will probably have to do a shortened version here of ARA tonight. Thank you to Mitch. Thank you to Braden. Thank you to T-Bone, kind of, sort of. He's a jerk. But we'll do a shortened version here of ARA. So let's get it going with some observed or approved.
My old friend.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for some absurd or approved. So, Voldy, you want to try rattle them off for us, please?
Well, in the world of the NFL and the ever-growing free agency market and the ever-changing market for wide receivers and contract extensions, one quarterback still has to, or I should say, one wide receiver still has yet to remain signed or to get signed, that being of the Dallas Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb. As even though Jerry Jones, owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, did say that there was no urgency to get him signed, he did say and change his tone this past Sunday following a preseason game against the LA Rams. He did quote as saying that CeeDee Lamb is quite missed by the Cowboys and hope that they find a way to work things out without having to, push sides even further. Of course, then being posted further onto the world of social media, it was CeeDee Lamb quoting said tweet and then posting LOL on his X account.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with, of course, the growing urgency for the Cowboys to, well, do anything besides what the Cowboys do is have a great regular season, choke it in the playoffs with a generational talent such as CeeDee Lamb. Is it absurd or approved? Do you think Jerry Jones will cave in and give CeeDee Lamb the deal that he wants?
Well, to be honest, he kind of doesn't have much of a choice, if I'm being honest. It's the Cowboys have put themselves in a position to where they have not, in fact, given themselves cap space. You paid Dak, okay? You paid Dak. You invested a lot in the defense, and they haven't come through for you, to be honest. You look at that playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, and they got absolutely obliterated. And they have kind of put themselves in this position. I think he has to cave in. And if you don't have your top receiver, and the fact that it took you time to figure out what the hell you're doing with this team, because you don't really have anybody after. I think Michael Gallup is behind CD. Oh, he retired. That's right. Thank you.
Yep.
He retired. And who do you have after? You don't have anybody after that. And so
Not really.
You brought back Zeke for what the hell? I don't understand that. But this is a very messed up deal with Dallas Cowboys. And I'm sorry, they're not up to the tier of the Niners, the Lions, and hell, not even the Packers. I mean, right now they're in trouble. He needs to cave in and get a deal. He goes, well, we need you here. Well, the Jefferson deal already came in, and guess what? These guys are going to be looking for more than that. So Jerry put this on himself. So if I were Jerry, I would retire. And as you see, Tate chilling because, again, the Cowboys are put you to sleep. They put you to sleep. So, stamp approval. He's got to cave in, or else you don't have your number one receiver. So, Voldy, Tate, what do you got?
This is what it happens when you have a longer show and you have a 3-year-old that you need to put to sleep while you're doing the show. As you get stuck with a 5-month-old, and thankfully he is sleeping. But when you look at the situation with the Cowboys, it doesn't really help Jerry Jones's cause either when the Cowboys franchise was recently evaluated and now valued at $10 billion in total worth. So CeeDee Lamb really isn't in a huge rush to sign back unless the deal is right. Now, he is facing facing fines of not making training camp of $40,000 a day, which could very well reach up to $1 million before all said and done. I think when it really comes down to it is just the Cowboys and this group that they have with obviously the whole Jones family. They just continue to run in circles of when it comes to they get these players, they draft them high, they develop them, and they become these stars. Now you're at a point where these stars are looking to cash in multiple ways. How many times have we seen it before with Zeke Elliott, with Dak Prescott, with basically anybody this century that has played for the Cowboys has looked to get their payday, and the Cowboys, for lack of a better term, have held stout and have not given in to those demands. I think really it comes down to being in the ball of obviously Jerry Jones's court of what he wants to see, because honestly, the receiving court that they do have, if they even have one, isn't really in, is not going to produce at a level where they need to be, given the fact that they have Dak Prescott, who is already looking at possibly a new deal throughout the season and into next year, where he holds all the cards in that regard. And after that, it's going to be very, very interesting to see who comes out on top for sure. I think Jones is going to have to cave in at some point. It's not like he ain't got no money. He's got money.
He got money. This ain't the bowl ads around here. That's what I got to say. So, all right. And actually, literally just breaking news before the show here out of New England. So, next one, Voldy.
Well, after a little bit of a rough start to training camp for the New England Patriots, edge rusher Matthew Judon has, quote, been traded away from the New England Patriots to the Atlanta Falcons for a third-round pick, as Judon had been practicing for a brief stint following an absence from the team, of course, with a quote-unquote rebuilding year for the Patriots. The Falcons will hopefully benefit. Of course, Judon, who's turning 32 here as of tomorrow, is going to be looking for a new contract based off of his performances with the Patriots the last few seasons. Patriots weren't looking to divulge a new contract before the start of the season and letting things play out. That led to Judon sitting out a few early days of training camp, and now has come to a head at this point where the Patriots had to make a move and switch things out, take out the old guard, bring in the new, with Judon now heading to Atlanta. Now, with this move being made, is it absurd or approved that this trade will benefit the Falcons more than the Patriots in the long run?
Well, that's a great question. And I think, Voldy, you put it quite plainly, as Tate did as well. But this trade is kind of shocking, because I feel like the Patriots really relied on Judon for their defense. I mean, he was the leader on their defense for these past few years, and now you're trading him away to the Falcons, and it seems to me that they're trying to, it's almost like a rebuilding, and it shows, because they, again, they really don't have the, they don't have a lot of their personnel like they did when it was with Belichick, but, that time's passed. But the Falcons look like a team that's ready to, kick some ass here. And, it's not because of the Kirk thing or anything like that, but, I mean, their defense has gotten better. You add a nice pass rusher to this defense, and they hadn't had a double-digit sack guy since 2016 with Vic Beasley. So that's a name we haven't heard in a while. So that gets factored in. Now you add to that defense in a kind of a bad division. I mean, you look at that division with Tampa, with New Orleans, with Carolina. I mean, it's up for grabs. Now, the Falcons look like the team to, beat, because you have Kirk and you have weapons. You're adding to that deep. You have A.J. Terrell, who's a great corner as well. So, hey, you got a nice pass rusher to add. I think this benefits the Falcons more than it does the Patriots. I mean, this is kind of shocking to me, but I also know too that Judon's going to be a guy that they'll have to get to these quarterbacks, especially in a bad division. So to answer your question, I think this benefits, stamp of approval. This benefits the Falcons more than it does the Patriots. I'm not sure. Did you say what they got in return? I couldn't remember. I can't remember.
Third round pick.
A third round pick. Oh, wow. Yep. I thought they'd try to get more than that. So, yeah, definitely. I'll take the Falcons here. So, Voldy, Tate, what do you got?
I think looking at the situation currently with the Patriots and also with the Falcons as well, I think this is really going to play out for the Falcons in many ways, because we know the fact that they're not going to be afraid to throw out any money if we saw anything with Kirk Cousins here this offseason and them throwing the big money, because obviously Judon's looking for a big contract. He's only going to be making $6.5 million, which he thinks is completely under his own value as a player right now. I think the Falcons, they're looking to make a push, and they're looking to make a push right now. So they're going to throw out the big money towards Judon, and hopefully it will bear fruit in the next couple of seasons of not only getting back into the mix and into the playoffs, but maybe even further beyond that point. And we've seen that Atlanta has been a very fairly defensive team with some of the teams that they've had in recent years. When they made that Super Bowl run all those years ago, with besides a good offense, they did have a pretty good defense to go along with that. I think in the long term, I think this could very well benefit with the Falcons based off of what they have currently over what the Patriots have right now is going to be where I would go through with this.
All right. And I think Tate agrees with you. Those eyes are wide open.
Yes, they are.
So this will be our last one, Volde.
Well, heading to the world of college football, as the Associated Press did release its top 25 preseason poll. No real surprises, with the Georgia Bulldogs receiving 46 first place votes to be the number one team heading into the start of the college football season, followed by number 2 Ohio State, with Oregon, the newest member of the Big Ten, at the number 3 spot in there. And you also see Texas out of the SEC in the number 4 spot, that being the top 4 of the top 25 so far. But, of course, we're looking at 1 and 2 with Georgia and Ohio State. Now, of course, there are a couple question marks with Georgia, maybe throwing a little bit more of a softer schedule into the mix here, besides coming off a couple of lackluster seasons in Athens. Ohio State looking to get back into the mix as well after watching their rival to the north in Michigan win a national championship. Is it absurd or approved? Is one or both of these teams poised enough to stay atop the standings and win a national championship?
That's a great question, and you know who would be good with this too for this specific one? Joe Clements. Yeah. Joe Clements. Yes. You know, he had some things to say about the J.J. McCarthy injury. He said Michigan legs or something like that. Well,
Michigan knees. Yeah.
Must be nice being. Well, you know what? He's a Cowboys fan, so things aren't going well with CeeDee Lamb. So we'll take that. Just kidding, Joe. But yeah, that's a great question. And you know, Georgia, man, they've kind of. I feel like they've kind of hopped Alabama a little bit, because now, you know, with Saban gone, maybe they do something. You know, with Saban gone, maybe they have a chance to do some things. But it's interesting to me how it'll all pan out, because Ohio State obviously is always in the mix, and they are always, you know, around there. But I think this season they're really going to make sure that they don't lose to Michigan. But there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Michigan Wolverines right now, Voldy, and I think they want to try and expose that and, you know, get to where they want to go, because the college football playoff is obviously, that we both know, is expanded. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting how that all pans out. But the teams that you have up here, I'd probably say I'm gonna say both. And the reason why I say both in this instance, Voldy, is that Ohio State, they're going to come back with a vengeance, because, you know, they've dominated, you know, against Michigan, but these past couple years it hasn't been the case. Now they have a team that can get to the national championship. Now with the expanded playoff, it's going to be a lot tougher, but I look at Georgia, and Georgia's just a team that is poised to be good for a long time. And the SEC is very, you know, competitive. I mean, all those teams. So I'm going to say both. And I think they're going to have, I believe I believe it's the right rankings, Georgia and then Ohio State. But I'll take both teams to stay atop this football season. But watch out for Oregon. I will say, watch out for Oregon this season because, they added Gabriel. They have really good running backs back there, and their defense has gotten a lot better. So that's what I think. Voldy, what do you got?
I look at these two teams overall, especially in the conferences that they play. I think Georgia has a much favorable path to get there. No, not even really a favorable path. I just feel like they're the better team in the bigger conference, I think, in that area. Uh, you look at Georgia, they've been at the top of the SEC or near the top, besides Alabama and Ohio and LSU a few years back too, and they've been a team that's consistently at that top. Ohio State, sure, they've had some good years in the mix when it comes down to obviously making the Big Ten championship game and getting there, but when it comes to getting to the big game itself, they've been left out at one point. The last time they won national championship was what I believe 2015.
Yeah,
I want to say
15,
when Zeke
14.
Elliott. Yeah, when Zeke Elliott and Urban Meyer were running the show there in Columbus. I think obviously Ohio State has a much more favorable path when it comes to the conference that they play in. Besides the Big Ten having 18 schools, you throw in Oregon, you throw in Washington, you throw in all these other schools that were cast aside. I feel with the group that they have a much better way to get to the national championship than Georgia. But overall, team-wise, I think it's going to be Georgia that's going to come out as the top dog at the end of the season, pun intended, with them being the Bulldogs. But I'm going to definitely say both these teams have the team to make it to the national championship, but it's going to be Georgia taking the whole thing home. So it's got my stamp of approval as well.
Coach Bo is very happy as a Georgia fan
Yes,
right
he
now.
does.
And Tate, I love your enthusiasm right here. So claps out to Tate.
That's just how he normally looks. He's got big eyes all the time.
He's a great guy. He's just an awesome guy. Him and Kaser. All right, that'll do it for Absurd or Approved this week. A little shortened version, but we had so much fun with our NFC North roundtable talk. So let's wrap things up because I know Tate's probably got to go to bed here soon. So, excuse you. Let's get it going with some Shield shout-outs. We got a couple Shield shout-outs we got to get out tonight. So let's get it going with some Shield shout-outs.
Shield shout-outs.
All right, it is time for Shield shout-outs. So Shield, who you shout out tonight?
Well, of course, we do have to say a big Shield shout-out and gracious thank you to our guests that came tonight. Mitch Ribby, former intern guy, Veil of Darkness, Braden Wallenstein as well for,
Surprise.
Of course, our NFC North preview program as well. So awesome to see and talk to those guys a little bit about football and the upcoming season. Also, a big shout out to everybody who came out for the Granite City Lumberjacks golf outing at Wapakata Golf Club here today. It was awesome to see so many old faces, so many new, getting that much more excited for the start of the season here in 30 days, believe it or not. 30 days there will be hockey once again for the Granite City Lumberjacks. And a great day it was for the Poneth Dawson Vold group at the Lumberjacks golf outing, who actually won at finishing 12 under. Matt and Leslie Dawson, Steve Poneth, Paul Poneth, who flew in all the way from New Jersey for the golf outing, and of course Molly Vold, the commish herself, overseeing a winning performance from the squad today to bring home the win at the Lumberjacks golf outing. So a big Shield shout out to them. And that will do it for Shield shout-outs this week.
We love it. Great job, Voldy, and obviously Tate, because he's chilling like a villain. And congrats to everything with the golf outing. And, the guys for coming on. Mitch, former intern guy, which was quite unfortunate. I was very disappointed. No, I'm just kidding. He was all right. He was okay. Braden as well. It was awesome to meet Braden. Very big Lions fan. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully we get him on here again. That'd be another good time as well. So, Voldy, we have got a lot of people for the Pick'em. We've got a ton of Pick'em. And remember, you guys can sign up. We got a lot of time. We'll probably advertise it again. Win some Zona merch, things like that. Tate's going to love it. We all are going to love it too. Mm-hmm. So make sure you guys get signed up. We can send you the link. We're happy to set that up for you. And we will do that for you. And guys, we got the merch, okay? We got plenty of merch, sweatpants, hats. We've got stickers. We've got shirts. We've got, tumblers. I mean, it's just awesome. So many cool things that we have here on at MinneZona Sports Live. Make sure you check out W2 Performance with Will Rattel at www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out all of his cool stuff. And thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers as well. We have plenty of them, and they're awesome, by the way. And also the Victorious POD Voldy. Speaking of those guys, I think we will be featured on their show next week. So, claps out to those guys. We're going to be doing some mock draft stuff. So, be on the lookout for that episode with those guys. It won't be on our live stream, but it will be on theirs. So we'll be talking with them. So we will get that out to you as soon as possible. Tyler Herman, Jack Vickers. We're working on getting that set up. Make sure you check out TLS Performance with our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr., baby. Doing some great things over there. And also the Popcorn Bucket List with Nick Dahlhoff and the Rhino, baby. Rhino. Make sure you check those guys out. Popcorn Bucket List, Omni Entertainment. So, that's going to do it for episode 203. Another, we got to do this roundtable. Maybe we got to shorten it a little bit, but we had a great time with those guys because there's so many things to talk about. It was awesome. And with that being said, Tate's got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. Shoot, I should go to bed myself. We all do. Fair enough, we all do. So we'll wrap this up. And remember, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla!
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.